Welcome back, everyone, to the Comics Cube. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the worst superhero ever. So, the worst superhero ever made his debut in Police Comics #1, an anthology series from 1941 with a lot of characters in it. It's probably best known for being the first appearance of one of the biggest comic book characters of all time, not so much today, Plastic Man. Probably the most famous stretchy superhero of all time. We're not talking about him, but just to illustrate how much they didn't know what they were doing, he's not even the main guy on the cover. See? No, we're talking about somebody who's not on the cover. And that person is codenamed Number 711. Or I guess if you want, you can call him hashtag 711 by modern standards. So there he is, standing there with his suit and his green cape. Pay no attention to the dude who's clearly shooting at him because he's just standing there adjusting his sleeves. Number 711 was created by George E. Brenner. And when I first read him, I instantly thought he was the worst superhero ever. And no matter how many times I reread it, and no matter how many comics I'm able to read, my mind has not changed. It's not as if there's no craft in the work. Number 711's first panel shows some Will Eisner-esque architecture. Again, there. It did a good job of drawing me into the story right off the bat. One nice touch about this, I've seen his name listed as both 711 and Number 711. So I'm going to go with the second one because I can pretend that the prison bars on the window are standing in for the number sign or the hashtag. So this story starts off with two lifelong friends. One, Jake Horn, is criminally weak-minded with a record of 2 convictions. A third means life imprisonment. The other, Daniel Dice, is a promising young attorney and lifelong friend of Horn's. Here's the problem. Jake's wife is about to give birth. He wants to be there for her when it happens. Dan wants to help any way he can, so Jake asks for the most unreasonable thing ever. Take this wrap for me. What? That's not me pretending to be Dan. That's just me being as surprised as you are because this idea is ridiculous. Jake promises to turn himself in once the baby is born. How Dan decides he's going to get off scot-free with taking the fall for another guy, I have no idea. What's more, the whole plan hinges on them looking alike because apparently the police, who have caught Jake twice before, are that insanely stupid. Oh, we look alike. It can be done. I'm a loser, and this is the first decent thing I can do. Please. To which Dan replies, I'll do it. Anyway, Dan's number in prison is 711. And the next day, he stands in Westmore Prison. Jacob Horn, you will no longer be known by that name. From now on, you will be lifer number 711. Jacob Horn, convict number 711, life. None. I don't know what none means. Then a few days later, Dan sees in the paper that Jake had been killed before he even got to see his wife and new baby because life just has to be terrible. And one day, a few lines in a remote corner of a newspaper attract Dice's eye. Pedestrian killed. Jacob Horn, on his way to see his wife and newborn son, was instantly killed by a hit-and-run motorist as he was crossing Navin Avenue today. Now, okay. You'd think that Dan could show this newspaper clipping to the warden, call it a case of mistaken identity, and go back to his job and his life, right? But no, prisoner number 11 decides that Jake killed. That means I'm in prison for life. That is the saddest looking panel ever. Also, where are the shadows on the bars? Or caused by the bars? Dan somehow gets a hold of a wooden stake because they somehow just have those lying around. and manages to dig a sizable enough tunnel in the prison wall so he can easily escape. Then, little by little, the grim number 711 tunnels his way toward freedom. And one day he is free at last. So what does Dan decide to do once he can escape? Does he decide to just go back to his family and his friends and his old life and his, job? No. No, he doesn't. But I'm forgotten by now. I'm no longer Dan Dice. I'm number 711, and my place is back behind these walls. Seriously, dude, are you insane? So Dan decides to fight crime from inside the prison. When he finds out that a certain crook named Slick Panzer had been sentenced to a year's term as part of a larger plot by Panzer to get out and live off of stolen money when his sentence is up, because that makes sense, Dan pays him a visit. Panzer calls him 711. This is important for later on. There's only one rat in here, Panzer. What? How'd you get in here, 711? Meaning he recognizes him. And as for how he got in here, gee, I don't know. Could it be through the gigantic hole in the prison wall that he just dug? Also, where did he get those clothes? Panzer tells Dan where he's got the money hidden, and Dan sets off to recover the loot. There's a goon guarding it, so Dan surprises him with his calling card. A small mirror with bars, so whoever's looking at it will see himself behind bars. What the? 711? He's here. Yes, and the state will fill in the number. 711, I'll kill you, you beep. The goon calls him 711 as if, one, Dan had been fighting crime as 711 for so long. He hasn't. Or two, he recognizes Dan from prison. Either way doesn't really make sense, but let's let that slide for now. So Dan then says, well, Mug, I've got the money, and I'll send the police here to release you. So long. See you in jail. Get it? It's funny because people say that when they mean on opposite sides of the bars. But in this case, Dan's actually going back to jail after this, and you'll actually see him in jail. And oh, I give up. It's impossible to justify this. The next day, all the prisoners are talking about Panzer's goon. And Dan joins in on the conversation. All of a sudden, 711 is a mysterious figure. And when Dan, who is wearing the number 711 on his back, tells them he knows what really happened, the inmates' reactions are, huh, what, wow? And not, oh snap, you're obviously number 711, lifer number 711. The next day at the noon recess, I hear that mysterious number 711 gave back all that dough to the people Panzer swindled. Yeah, they say he beat up the 5 guys that was guarding it. No, there was only one guy guarding that money. Now, how did he know that? I just got word that it was one guy, and he's being sent here to do a stretch for his part in the crime? Okay, so it's been explained to me that the Golden Age kind of feels like that game kids play when they're young, where they create a superhero in the morning and they've grown tired of him by lunch. That is one of the Golden Age's biggest weaknesses, as well as one of its biggest strengths, showcasing a ton of energy, but also leading to a lot of bad or unremarkable ideas. But I can't think of any character that I find anywhere near as ridiculous as number 711, as his very premise flies in the face of all logic and suspension of disbelief. He has three chances in the story to, not be in jail, and he passes on those chances every single time. Why is this? Does he just really like prison? Was his career as an attorney so bad that he wasn't earning enough anyway, and he decided that this way he at least gets a bed and 3 meals a day? Did he just like the multicolored stones on the prison walls? How come no one else has escaped from a prison with such poor security and walls that anyone with a stake, or theoretically a spoon, can just dig his way out of? Seriously, where did he get those clothes? And those tiny mirrors for his calling cards? So anyway, after reading this, I just had to know what happened to number 711 and found out that he lasted all the way to Police Comics number 15. So that's 15 issues. And my initial reaction was, wow, I can't believe he lasted that long. And my second reaction was, wow, he actually died. That's right, folks. He dies once he's shot by a mobster named Oscar Jones, giving way to his replacement in the series, a new mystery man named Destiny. So I guess he's notable for being one of the first superheroes to actually die and stay dead. Or maybe he's notable for wonderfully written passages like this. Yes, readers, 7-Eleven is dead. He was no superhuman being. He was alive. So the day had to come when he would die. But little did he think his life would be cut short by the evil hand of Oscar Jones, racketeer. But it was his fate, his destiny. And if you look back to the preceding panel, you will see Destiny in the background. That daring new character who starts in where 7-Eleven left off and thrills you in the next issue of Police Comics. I'm going to read one sentence out loud again. He was alive, so the day had to come when he would die. Now, sounds like I'm just making fun of it, but having now read all that out, this one little 6-pager from August 1941 has never failed to make me laugh. So thanks for that, George Brenner. And thank you for that, number 7-Eleven.